The Lost Colony of Roanoke, America's first unsolved mystery. In 1587, more than 100 English settlers established a colony on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina, in one of England's earliest attempts to establish a permanent presence in the New World. 3 years later, when a supply ship finally returned after a long, unplanned delay, the colonists had vanished entirely, leaving behind no bodies, no signs of struggle, and only a single cryptic word carved into a wooden post. More than 4 centuries later, what actually happened to the Roanoke colonists remains one of the oldest and most enduring unsolved mysteries in American history. The Roanoke colony was established under the sponsorship of Sir Walter Raleigh, one of Queen Elizabeth I's most prominent courtiers, who had already attempted and failed to establish an earlier English colony at the same location just 2 years prior. That first attempt, a primarily military expedition, had ended when tensions with local Native American tribes and dwindling supplies forced the English settlers to abandon the colony and return to England alongside the famous explorer Sir Francis Drake, who happened to be passing the area at the time. Undeterred, Raleigh organized a second, more ambitious expedition in 1587, this time intended as a genuine civilian settlement rather than a military outpost, bringing entire families, including women and children, with the explicit goal of establishing a permanent, self-sustaining English colony. The expedition was led by John White, an artist and experienced explorer who had actually participated in the earlier failed colonial attempt, giving him direct first-hand knowledge of the region and its existing tensions with local Native American communities. Shortly after arriving and re-establishing the colony, White's own daughter, Eleanor Dare, gave birth to a daughter named Virginia Dare, who became the first English child born in the Americas, a historically significant moment that would later add considerable emotional weight to the mystery of the colony's eventual disappearance. Facing dwindling supplies and worsening relations with neighboring Native American groups, largely stemming from tensions inherited from the earlier failed colonial attempt, the colonists convinced White to sail back to England to secure additional supplies and reinforcements, a journey he reluctantly undertook, leaving behind his daughter, infant granddaughter, and the remainder of the colony. What should have been a relatively brief supply trip turned into a prolonged, unexpected delay of nearly 3 years, caused primarily by the outbreak of war between England and Spain, which led to a formal order preventing any ships from leaving English ports, since every available vessel was required for national defense against the anticipated Spanish naval invasion, an event that would culminate in the famous defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588. White made repeated attempts to secure passage back to Roanoke during this period, but was consistently unable to do so until 1590, when he finally managed to arrange return passage aboard a ship primarily focused on privateering activities against Spanish vessels, meaning the voyage back to Roanoke was itself delayed even further by the ship's primary commercial objectives along the way. When White finally arrived back at Roanoke Island in August of 1590, precisely 3 years after he had departed, he discovered the colony completely abandoned. The settlement's buildings had been carefully dismantled rather than destroyed or burned, suggesting a deliberate, organized departure rather than a sudden attack or panic, and the colonists' possessions, including White's own personal belongings he had left behind, appeared to have been buried, though many had since been damaged by exposure to the elements during the intervening years. The only clue White discovered was the word CROATOAN, carved into a wooden post at the settlement's entrance, along with the letters CRO, carved separately into a nearby tree, with no accompanying cross symbol, which White and the colonists had previously agreed would indicate the colony had been abandoned under distress or attack. The absence of that distress symbol offered White some initial hope that the colonists had relocated peacefully rather than been killed or forcibly removed, since CROATOAN was both the name of a nearby island, now generally identified with modern-day Hocking Island, and the name of a local Native American tribe with whom the colonists had maintained relatively friendly relations, unlike other neighboring groups. White intended to sail to CROATOAN Island to search for the colonists directly, but a severe storm damaged his ship's anchor cables, forcing his crew to abandon the search and return to England, meaning White himself never actually confirmed what the single word carved into that post truly meant, and was never able to mount another search expedition before his own death several years later. In the centuries since, numerous theories have emerged attempting to explain the colony's disappearance, though none has ever been definitively proven through conclusive archaeological or historical evidence. The most widely accepted theory among modern historians suggests the colonists, facing dwindling supplies and increasing difficulty surviving independently, integrated peacefully with the friendly CROATOAN people, either relocating to CROATOAN Island itself or dispersing among various local Native American communities in the region, a theory supported by later reports from English colonists decades afterward, describing encounters with Native American groups who had grey eyes and other physical characteristics suggesting possible English ancestry, along with accounts of Native American groups who reportedly claimed some among them descended from earlier English settlers, though these second-hand accounts have never been definitively verified through modern genetic or archaeological research. Other theories have suggested the colonists may have attempted to relocate further inland, potentially integrating with different Native American groups entirely, possibly driven by a documented internal plan the colonists had discussed before White's departure to move roughly 50 miles inland if conditions at Roanoke became untenable. Still other, less widely supported theories have suggested the colonists may have been killed, either by hostile Native American groups with whom relations had significantly deteriorated, or potentially by Spanish forces operating in the region, who viewed any English colonial presence as a direct threat to Spanish territorial claims across the broader region. Modern archaeological investigations, including excavations conducted in recent decades using advanced technology unavailable to earlier researchers, have uncovered scattered artifacts and settlement evidence at various sites believed potentially connected to the colonists' eventual relocation, including specific archaeological work on Hatteras Island, historically associated with the CROATOAN people, which has recovered English-made artifacts dating to the correct historical period, offering tantalizing but still ultimately inconclusive evidence supporting theories of peaceful integration rather than violent destruction. More than 4 centuries later, despite continued archaeological research and ongoing historical investigation, no discovery has ever definitively confirmed the ultimate fate of the more than 100 men, women, and children who vanished from Roanoke Island, including baby Virginia Dare, whose unresolved fate as the first English child born in the Americas has made her name permanently, poignantly associated with one of history's oldest and most enduring unsolved disappearances. If mysteries like this, where an entire community vanished, leaving behind almost nothing except a single carved word, are exactly what you come here for, subscribe to The Grave Details, because history holds far more unanswered questions than most people ever realize.